this fella, I mean, he's got the book. He's now an author. But there's so much more to Rob Parr. Dolby born, battles, you bet, highs and lows, love and loss, an organ recipient, a unique perspective on life, an outlook often tainted with darkness, but what he offers through his art, through his poetry, is hope. Hope for us all through an unfiltered lens. So please, without any further ado, welcome the author, welcome the poet, welcome to the Untamed Mind Project. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Parr.
Thank you, Scott.
Ladies and gentlemen, the artist.
Thank you very much. I need eyes. The artist. It requires a journey for the artist to become relatable. Artists are born, but their stories are made. Something is required, a toll must be paid. Some are touched by darkness, others by light. Yet the artist is drawn out, a gift we cannot fight. The human condition, a plight inescapable. The artist is dealing with emotions uncontainable. Lost in their efforts to write out their pain, the artist's endeavour, society's gain. We hope in the sharing the weight becomes manageable, living a life where our worth becomes tangible. I know little of the light, a place I try to see. It is through the darkness, clouded in mystery. I have written of the light. It is a lie, the artist's dichotomy. I dwell in the darkness, my demons out of sight. Today harnessed until the moment I write. It wasn't always the way, the darkness engulfing, my demons held sway. I found release in the writing, able to give up on the fighting. Let my artist have its say. Who would have thought I would end up this way?
The artist, the Untamed Mind Project. All right, Rob, settle in. Have a glass of water. You're all right. You're all right. This is pretty special, mate. Firstly, it's an honour to be sitting alongside you and to hear about the artist and get a perspective that we wouldn't otherwise. What is the Untamed Mind Project in your mind?
Yeah. So I think the first thing to do is, so that others have some perspective, is introduce myself. I do a little bit of advocacy work and I'm asked to introduce myself in 60 seconds, and to sum up who I am in 60 seconds is quite a challenge, but I have boiled it down to this. I am an artist who raises a few cows. My animals keep me grounded and in the now. I am a writer who uses poetry to advocate for mental health. My poetry shares insights into the human psyche and helps others relate that are touched by depression and anxiety. I am a husband to an amazing partner and father to 2 sons. My family keeps me trying to be the best version of me I can be. I am a liver transplant recipient. My second chance at life compels me to advocate for second chances and steers me toward art and community. After my younger brother's death in early 2024, I'm an advocate for men's health and mental well-being. After my liver transplant, also early 2024, I advocate for organ donation. I am passionate about building community in whatever shape that takes on. I look forward to sharing my poetry tonight, the connections we will feel, the community we will create, and for some of you, the weight we will share that will let us walk out of here knowing we are not alone.
Great stuff. Yeah, put your hands together for Rob. That's great. What an introduction, and I know there'll be an interval, there'll be a chance to take breath, have a chat to you. There'll be an opportunity if you feel compelled to ask a question, because I don't know them all and I can't read your minds. So at the break, you can come up to me and we can jot some questions down to ask Rob in the second half. And even if there's a moment you want to just give me a wave and we can get you to ask a direct question of Rob. That's kind of the plan, and you get to hear selected poems from the book, but also a few surprises. And that's interesting, the Bluebird Cafe in Nashville, one of the rules over there in that listening room is you've got to share a song that hasn't been released, that's not on an album, it's not on Spotify. So I guess you're going to take that to a next level by introducing us to a few new poems as well.
Yeah, and as I put this book together, I also had lots of creative moments where I wrote more poetry. But I would also like to think that I have a few more books in me. So maybe it's a little bit entrepreneurial, but I'm hoping by sharing some stuff tonight that isn't in the book, you will keep a lookout for what I may publish in future.
All right, I'm going to hand you the book because this was a little bit unplanned, but
Yeah.
as we get to know you to start the night, page 2 of the book, take it away, the poem.
Yeah, I sort of want to explain a little bit first. So we hadn't initially planned to read this, and just in the advertising we kept on coming up with that first line. So it is a big part of explaining why I share and how far I'm prepared to go in my share. The poet: I cut myself with words, so it is ink that leaks and not my life. I mutilate my mind in frustration to show you my emotion. I self-denigrate to avoid the slight of being called a degenerate. I offer you my open chest that you may see my beating heart. I am swallowed whole by the monster of darkness. I am drowning in the oily depths of despair. I am consumed by the frenzy to ride out my madness. I am cursed to replay every one of my darkest days. I see the worst in myself and question life's value. I see beauty in absolute chaos and nature's cruelty. I see the world cartwheeling towards insanity. I see peace in death. The poet.
Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's what I would like to do tonight is take us all on a journey. I promise that I won't leave you at the bottom. That we'll have a little downward run and we'll have a little upward run towards the end. The first half is really about personal physical pain and some of the stuff that really got me into poetry. And then the second half, I would like to share with you a little bit of the mental pain, which is really what got me into poetry is the mental anguish and trying to sort that stuff out. And then hopefully lift you so we can all go home happy at the end of it. And if you're wondering about the shakes, I take medicine for my liver transplant, and between 2 drugs that give me tremors and a little bit of adrenaline, I get bad shakes. So I'm hoping
I'm shaking too.
as we get towards being comfortable up here, that the shakes will go away.
Tell us about Jimmy.
Yeah, so this is the poem that really cemented my idea of what poetry was, and the reasons for writing poetry. To say thank you for things that you're unable to say thank you for in the moment that you should have. I was way too young to be as grateful as I needed to be to Jimmy. And that is something else. The Sullivan family took me in after my stepfather went missing, and he was looking for a property boundary west of Mitchell. He went missing and was never found, and my mother fell apart, as you would expect. And she wasn't able to manage her 3 sons, so we were sort of farmed out to people that were friends and family of ours, and the Sullivan family took me in. Now this is a poem about Jimmy, but what I have grown to learn is it's not just Jimmy, it's his wife. We say these things about a specific person, but there's so much more behind it. I really, when I was younger, wished I had been able to write something in for Shirley, but my door is always open to her children. My door is always open to her. So, yeah, we shall talk about Jimmy. Jimmy, you meant so much to me and your family of 4. 3 little boys and a girl made 4. Your loving wife you left alone. In this Mulga country, alone is alone. The red dust aggravates and the hot wind burns. This red country takes and takes. It took my uncle, my stepfather too. Now it's got you. You worked so hard, your fingers to the bone. Sure 5,000 sheep, all on your own. Something had to give, I really should have known. For a slight man, you had a heart so big, who would have thought it would let you down? That heart so big, it took me in when no one else would. A small child who tragedy had struck to to lose the only father he had ever known. You were like a father to me. You gave your love freely. What you had was a gift, a very beautiful thing, a gift of love and generosity. Did you finally give too much of that great big heart that had just caved in? Or was it something else? Maybe the drought, endless days pulling scrub, the heartache from watching stock die. Whatever happened, I'll never know, but at least you died close to the things you love. The red dirt, those grey mulga hills, and 3 little boys that had to make a long walk home. A long walk home to tell a devastated mother that you were lying in the dirt alone. Lying in the dirt, dead before you hit the ground, that great big heart stopped still to take your way to a better place. To greener pastures and rolling hills. Jimmy, you've left this world a lonelier place. I can only try to give the same as you gave to me, to look for the good and give life an opportunity. Jimmy, you meant so much to me.
So how old were you when... So that's Jimmy's from the Sullivan family?
Yes.
And how old were you when you were in their care for the first time?
Maybe 5. And then I sort of, that relationship sort of developed over the years when Mum did get herself back together. Obviously I went back with my mother, but I used to talk to Jimmy quite often on the phone when I was old enough to use a phone, and then over the years I'd go back out there shearing or crutching or driving a dozer. Actually was the person that taught me how to drive. So yeah, he was a real mentor to me. Very, very difficult man to replace, and yeah, I always look at that poem and think of the example that he set for me, just to go, am I honouring what he gave to me?
And he taught you about the bush by the sounds, and was there a lot of your love for, I know we're going to talk cattle soon, I think, and the love of your cows, but did you find that period of your life is where some of that was instilled?
I don't think so. I think he taught me about unconditional love. For a man to take on somebody else's child when they had 3 of their own sons and a baby girl is a hell of a thing. I don't know if I could actually do it myself. I've got 2 boys. When they were kids, they were all consuming. I don't know that I would have signed up for the neighbour's child. So yeah, I think it is unconditional love. My love of animals comes from being associated with animals, and it's got to be an in-ground thing. I think you're either born with it or you're not. It's my answer to that is unconditional love. Unconditional love,
and you have them for your cows. They're on the front cover and the back.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
All right.
So other than poetry, cows are my support animal. I have dogs as well, but cows are absolutely amazing. Their size, their gentleness when they want to be. I have had occasion where they were not gentle with me. Broke my shoulder and my leg. But yeah, just their presence. It's a huge animal that has a presence, but there is nothing, no expectation, no anything. It is just the presence. So, yeah.
I reckon that leads us nicely to taste.
Yeah. Someone said my cows were ugly. Now, I didn't immediately take offence. I did explain in their defence, we don't get to choose our looks. Some of us are born pretty, some of us are not. Thankfully for you and me, our tastes are quite diverse. Hell, I like girls that are 5'3" and clad in chambray shirts. A girl that wears Wrangler jeans, RM boots, and can strain a barbed wire fence. You, my friend, may like a girl who's just a little less intense. I can't pretend to know what kind of bovine you prefer. For all my years on earth, I haven't had a better friend than a big old Brahman bull that sired half the herd, or a Brahman cow I've known from her beginning to her end. So tread careful when you talk about my stock, my friend, lest you cause offence. They have given me their everything, ask for very little in return. Now, hold your tongue as you run your judging eyes over my dogs. It's one thing to talk down about my cows, but I warn you not to talk down about my dogs.
You said you were you were going to point to me with that line about some of us are born pretty. Went the other way.
Oh, I don't know. It was in the name. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Fantastic. And those cows on page 100 next to the poem taste, are they
they're the
current herd?
Yep.
Yeah. Looking good.
Even back, current cows.
Current crop.
The wee babies there.
Yeah. Love it. The Untamed Mind Project, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Parr taking you through the first section of the night, and we will introduce you to, just a little bit before we have a break, to the founder of Brave Brothers, and you'll be able to find out a bit more about that organisation, and also if any of this brings anything up for you, especially later in the night, there are places you can reach out to. So I think that's just worth knowing that information will be there for you if you need it. We'll also draw the raffle at the lucky door prize, so that's to come.
So that's interesting, and I'm just going to go off script. An interesting...
You already have, so you've told me that I was able.
I'm just going to keep going. Trigger warnings. Trigger warnings is something that I've never paid much attention to or understood their meaning. So the trigger warning for me now has become a thing. It isn't a shut down and turn away. It is just loosen yourself up a little bit, be prepared to listen, be prepared to digest. It's not... I don't know what I had thought trigger warnings were, but I always turned away from it. And now it's more of a, okay, I'll loosen myself up and be prepared to listen.
And a lot of what your messages are will create so many different feelings for people as we'll explore throughout the night. So that's something that you're going to have to...
Yeah, if you could have seen, surely by the look on the front page, you know there's got to be a trigger warning there.
I love it. Tell us about Matriarch.
So Matriarch, it's one of those wonderful things being a creative person, that in moments of inspiration you can write about people, and sometimes it happens with perfect timing. So this is my mother's cousin, and she passed away, but she was one of those country ladies that nothing was ever too much trouble. If you turned up on a doorstep at any time, it wasn't a hassle. She was just a beautiful, beautiful lady, and we are losing them, unfortunately. I don't know what's happening in society, but we struggle to replace them. Matriarch. She was never a glass half empty or a glass half full type. She was just happy to have a glass. It seemed the harder she tried to empty her glass to fill yours up, her levels never changed. It's possible she gained more in the exchange than was lost in filling your cup. Generosity of spirit, a love for giving, gardening and pottering in the kitchen, children growing and gone, having children of their own, a light in her eyes to discuss grandchildren and milestones, a character to hold up as an example of a good life, self-sufficient materially and emotionally, always time to sit and have a chat, homemade something and a cup of tea. Whatever was happening, she would say, "It will wait for me." A touchstone of love, multi-generationally, an example of what we should aspire to be, the epitome of a country lady, aging gracefully the way her God intended her to be, a linchpin in a family chain that may unravel without you, her guidance, steady hand and celebrations of family. Who could possibly replace you? Beautiful matriarch of the family.
So that's your mother's cousin. What was her name?
Hazel.
Hazel.
Yeah. She's a country lady, lived on a property northwest of, between Miles and Chinchilla, somewhere in there. The name's not coming to me.
And did Hazel, do you wish like you could gift these poems to the people you write about sometimes? And
so I actually read something that resembled that at Hazel's funeral. And that is what I mean by being a creative person. You have those moments where this is right for me. When people come up to you and say, "Oh, that meant so much," or you captured her spirit in 25, 50 words, That's when it's, I know that the path I'm on is right.
Certainly, that's the case. Robert Parr. All right, so material.
Yeah, so it's really about all the ups and downs in life are material for an artist. And if you can just hang on to your artist, you may be like me and did not want to be an artist. This is the last thing I wanted to be doing, but my life has pushed me into this corner and I'm trying to make the most of it. All of the darkness, all of the joy, all of that can be turned into material. So yeah, it's all material. Protect your artist at all costs. Maintain that tiny flame through your life. You must work and live the journey. No one escapes this fundamental rule. Maintain your artist through all the ups and downs. It won't make a difference in the moment. The lows are still low and the highs are over too quick. When you have enough life behind you and can pause and reflect, material you have gathered on your journey will fuel your art. To tell a story that is uniquely you and yet common to all human experience. Should you find yourself wallowing in despair, unable to see the way, physically incapacitated, unable to work the day, allow your artist to take the wheel. It won't take the suffering away, but it becomes apparent that we all suffer. In our shared suffering, life becomes bearable. You and I become relatable. The one thing that life cannot take is your artist. You can make $1 million and lose it. You can meet the love of your life and walk the other way. You can lose your health, the body you built. You can get trapped in a cell, unable to feel the warmth of a summer's day. You can be so far down that it seems your only option is to get on your knees and pray for deliverance from your self-imposed hell. No matter how low or what life has taken from you, maintain that flame. You are an artist, and this life is just material.
Is there an artist in all of us?
I would like to say yes. For some of you, it would be a lot harder to find than others. My artist was insistent. I tried to not be an artist for so long, but it kept on coming up. I grew up in a time when being arty was, seen in a negative context. I also grew up in an agricultural family that it wasn't considered to be of value, really. That there was no, if you weren't making money from the ground, you weren't doing it in a proper way. And I guess that is part of my message is if you can cultivate both at the same time, if you can be an artist and a farmer, or if you can be an artist and a builder, then you're more of a complete human. It definitely grows your empathy, but it may also grow your bank account. If you are able to get to a point where you can sell your art and maintain what you do for your day job, who knows where it can go.
Could lead to a night of duties like this.
Absolutely.
With a full house staring at you, having paid a ticket to not only receive a copy of this book, but hear you read, which I think is just fabulous.
It is.
This next poem is, well, clearly a defining moment for Rob Parr.
And I think it is something that's so, I think all of us now have somebody that we know, a family member or a friend of a friend that has suffered with a disease of some description. When I read this to some people that have had cancer issues, they resonated with it really well. So, shadow of disease. Why me, and what have I done to deserve this? I have never been cruel or unkind. Why rob me of my bodily function and healthy mind? Am I some plaything for an unjust God, a deity's toy? Where does the doubt come from in a moment of joy? Can I indulge in self-pity and not feel guilty for those worse off? Who pays the bills for fragile enthusiasm and lack of energy? Why can I not escape the ticking of the clock? Future dreams and future plans, all on a butcher's block. Can I retrain or retire to save my family? This burden can break or it can bind me. The darkness creeps and I retreat in the hope that it will not find me, frustrated with my body as my human functions fail me.
Sound effects with it. That was.
So, interestingly, shadow of disease, that is a shadow of disease. That is my alarm to take my medications at 7:30 and 7:30. I had been going to turn it off, but yes, obviously I got too busy. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Hey, it's relevant to the poem.
Yeah, awesome timing, thank you. I will start the poem again. Shadow of disease, why me and what have I done to deserve this? I have never been cruel or unkind. Why rob me of my bodily function and healthy mind? Am I some plaything for an unjust God, a deity's toy? Where does the doubt come from in a moment of joy? Can I indulge in self-pity and not feel guilty for those worse off? Who pays the bills for fragile enthusiasm and lack of energy? Why can I not escape the ticking of the clock? Future dreams and future plans, all on a butcher's block. Can I retrain or retire to save my family? The burden can break or it can bind me. The darkness creeps and I retreat in the hope that it will not find me. Frustrated with my body as my human functions fail me. The life force flickers on and off. I look inside with thoughts of self-disgust. Advice is free and often given. It does nothing for this rotting husk. Medical intervention has been the greatest stuff. Will it be enough? Constant testing and assessment fills you with distrust. Who am I now? The person before or the person after? Can a diagnosis define a human character? How will I be remembered when I enter the forever after, living in the shadow of disease?
And on page 37 there you are with, in the research chair.
So that's why I said pretty.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. When the words though, on paper there, when do they come? If that's the moment,
Yeah.
when do the words hit the paper?
As soon as physically possible. So if I don't have paper, it's into the phone. We will go further into the acts of creativity further on, but yeah, if I miss that moment where the inspiration is struck, then trying to get it back is nearly impossible. But yeah, I am just open to any creative presence or creative moment. As an artist, and that's what I'm calling myself now, that's my commitment. Regardless of what I am doing, I am committed to that moment where I get inspiration, and I will stop everything I'm doing and write it down.
And from this moment, shadow of disease, living in that shadow,
Yep.
you had the second chance.
Yeah, that's right. Nice segue. Second chance. The carrot that dangles a full and fulfilling life. A return to the norm of energy and purpose, away from the limbo I am living in. A chance to rebuild the shell of my body and the dreams of my life. A chance to contribute and not be a financial drain on my wife. To be here for my children, conscious and present, with energy to engage and knowledge to teach. Skills developed over a wide and varied life. Thoughts to pass on from those that have gone before. I will take a shorter life in exchange for these things. To have a relationship with my father, whatever that brings. To be here for my mother and brother in times of need. A return to the present of planning and goal setting. To be able to work and sweat out the stress. To take long walks and push through without rest. I will take the uncertain moments for the chance to be my best. Toing and froing from hospitals and clinics has become my life. A chance to reduce the wasting of time, waiting for treatments, waiting in waiting rooms, watching sickness and strife. Thousands of kilometres travelled and years of my life I've given to this disease that is quietly killing me. Trapped by my own body and its limitations, I have been given a way out. A second chance at life. Liver transplant.
And where did you find, and I know there are clues through each and every poem, but where, when it hit 10, did you find the strength to fight another day?
Nowhere. It's oblivion is what it is. It is just relying on the medical miracles of today to bring you back, and then being able to reflect on it later on is where the poem comes from. It's not something that I was laying there gnashing my teeth and wiggling in the bed thinking, oh, I've got to write a poem about this. And it is our base animal. I will get into my base animal here shortly. My base animal is what I believe keeps me going. It isn't anything my brain can do. It's what my heart does. It keeps beating regardless of what my brain thinks. And we get into some of the other stuff dealing with depression, and it is about the heart. It just keeps going.
You've got a lot of heart for mountains, don't you?
I love mountains, yeah.
Where did that love start?
Mountains are like freedom, and to go for long walks in a mountain with a little creek in it is just to escape reality. It's to become that base creature that needs nothing, wants nothing, exists in the moment. I have no financial issues, I have no health issues, I have nothing when I'm walking in the mountain. I'm just that animal with all the rest of the animals walking in nature.
Including no pants, Rob.
No one has to know about the no pants. Yeah, well,
That wasn't in the script either.
did you plant that? It was done very artistically, right? And between the fur and the shade, there's not much to see.
Just to make people keep turning pages, you are in here, Nathan.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, anyway. But don't go looking yet, let him read the poem.
Thanks for the calendar.
Shade and fur, I tell you, they're getting nothing. The mountain. The mountain it calls, it draws me away. The massive rock walls dwarf my mortal soul. The steep gullies and cliffs bear witness in silence to the passing of time. The passage of water, long forgotten, fills me with awe. The wind whispers in trees, soothing my tortured soul. The trees talk and taunt my time spent away. The mountain it calls. I smell the earth, the trees, the tall drying grass. Birds flicker and fly, darting about. Other creatures stop and watch with intrigue. What goes there, so clumsy and slow? A human, bent low under the weight of consciousness. My mighty animal past hidden. I seek and I yearn to find the beast in me. Nature, my love, show me your secrets. The mountain, it calls. I spend the time and I see. I am one with you now. Animals do not flee. I move silently without effort. The beast in me is free. I smell the air and catch fleeting images of wild things passing by. A fresh grape or a rub on a tree, all now have meaning to me. I care not for drinking or eating or saving energy for return journeys. I don't think of living or dying. I am in the moment. I am now. The mountain it calls. When I am done, I will return to your embrace, to lie under a tree and become a faceless place. To be part of the mountain, to be part of the birds and the trees. All this life of living and the body it's built, I offer to you, my mountain, without my earthly guilt. The mountain it calls.
Some really lovely imagery in that one as well, isn't there?
Yeah, that first, so the second line, the massive rock walls dwarf my mortal soul. Every time I read that line, I'm transported to a spot in the mountains. So, yeah, and that's the amazing thing of poetry and the amazing thing of the brain, as much as I bash my brain, is its ability to transport you to somewhere. Like I am nearly physically there, I can nearly reach out and touch that rock wall. And I can smell the musty earth and all of that, it's amazing.
Where is that? Where's your favourite mountain?
You know, I'm not sure that it's a favourite mountain. It is a place on a property that I no longer own. We bought a property up at Mount Perry when I first got sick. I wanted to leave something behind for my children, a material thing that they could always return to and rebuild their lives from. And that's part of what this whole Untamed Mind Project is about, is the material things we try to build for our families can be taken away so quickly. Whether it's through health, financial constraint, divorces, children doing crazy stuff, it can all be taken away. What endures is our artist. So this book now is what I can leave my children, and the art will endure, hopefully at least to great-grandchildren. How many of us here know our great-grandfathers well enough to be able to say anything about them? In some beautiful families, there is strength there that goes back. In my family, there is no linear line to go through family. So, yeah, it's and that's also a big message, and part of why I'm with Brave Brothers is the idea of community. Is if we can create community around art, create community around the Brave Brothers message, whatever it is, however we can make that small community, it has value. It allows each of us to lift each other up.
You're going to leave us with some love, some more heart before we get to the break?
So, what people think of when you say you write poetry is the love poems. I didn't find poetry through love and light, I found it through darkness. But it's definitely been my love and light that has brought me to the place I'm able to share. Without Cal, it's not possible. So yeah, this is for my wife. Petal, your curiosity and your smile, your side-sleeping profile, your essence I breathe, your love a spring breeze, blue eyes of kindness, blue eyes of mischief, blue eyes of love, blue eyes I'm lost. You collect my bits, you balance my loss, you keep me together, you water my garden. Salt and pepper hair, fair skin and freckles, tiny feet, hands that hold my heart.
Yes. There's a reason why we did that last. Well done, Kelly. We did that last so you could have a breather now and go and get your meds.
Yeah, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Park, we can see it all. You're doing great, mate. This is excellent. The Untamed Mind Project. Before you jump up for your coffee, just a real quick chat. And we did this on purpose because he wanted to play the kazoo, he wanted to play the spoons, he wanted to play the cowbell. And we said, no, it's all about the spoken word. But we said we'd let him have a bit of that. And he is a great brother, a brave brother. He's the founder of the organisation. And he's here to have a quick word just to give Rob a breather. And just before you get your coffee and cake, please put your hands together for Dave Facer, ladies and gentlemen. You've seen this man before though on telly and all that. He's a bit of a celebrity. There you go, mate.
Hi mate, how are you?
Very good, very good. Firstly, Rob Parr. What an inspiration. What a great brother to have.
What I'd like to have on board as a brave brother. And one of the amazing things to me is when we actually have read through the book initially, and we were asked to do a little bit of a review. One of my favourite poems was actually Jimmy. Yeah. And so the reasoning around that poem for me is that all the men in our lives, we sometimes don't have a Jimmy, but I think we're all seeking a Jimmy. Whether that's as a young child, and if we haven't had that person as the genuine role model, we're left with fabricated role models. The sports people, the Andrew Tates that people gravitate to, instead of the good, honest, hard-working men that set the example. And I think it resonated because that was part of the development of Brave Brothers, was to actually find good men that can act as role models to men at any stage of life. Because if we've missed out on it as a young person, it doesn't mean we've lost out if we find one later in life. But also we get the opportunity to be a role model to somebody else. And how valuable was Jimmy to Rob? And how valuable is Rob to our community? That's the resonance that comes out of there. So I love that one.
Really want to quickly acknowledge the two main supporters of tonight have been Udi's Cafe and Brave Brothers, and I know Rob will donate some of the ticket price and the sale of his book to Brave Brothers. I know Udi's aren't taking any booking fees, they're just donating money to Brave Brothers. This is a brave place, and it has been for 12 months. What is a brave place and how does it fold in quickly? I'm saying quickly to you because you told me about it. You know.
I'm not used to talking.
But tell us, really quickly acknowledge the brave place and what it means.
So a brave place is primarily a safe space that people can come to and feel welcome. One of the special things about Udi's is that anybody can walk through that door and I believe can be made welcome, and just friendliness exudes. As part of that culture, what Brave Brothers wants to try and promote is have some resources on board so as people can just pick something up. And in fact the main thing is how to help a mate brochure, which we have here. We have these in all our Brave places. You may not see them in here, but I'll tell you what, if you go to the toilet, you will see them in there, along with some other resources as well. All staff have had some training in suicide prevention and family domestic violence awareness. Everybody is aware and they're looking out for their friends, their families, their customers. And it's just a nice place to be. And so to be a brave place, it's the culture, it's having some resources, and all of these guys know how to reach out if they see anybody else in need.
And it's a project that's expanding. It's already in place at other places like World Gym's an example. Other businesses are taking it on board. It's growing and developing, and that coupled with the drumming circle, the walking groups, the motorbike element and the stags and all of these things that go on around Brave Brothers and the community that is all part and parcel, isn't it?
It is. We're a big believer in the fact of connection, and particularly making things that men can connect at. Our walk and talk. So a few guys here, we've come from a walk and talk tonight. Short walk. It's an hour. For some men, that is the only hour they might get with connecting with other men. Our motorcycle groups, very local ride, 3 hours normally, on a Sunday morning once a month. It pulls blokes together that might not have anybody else to ride with. And we're only local, so it also brings blokes together that don't have much time to get away from perhaps their family. But they can actually come along, do a local ride, get a bit of air through their hair when we have a break, have a chat, and then go home back to the stresses of real life. And our drumming circle out at Bagara on a Thursday morning is just, I think something was said earlier about the inner artist or the artist. Well, I think we've all got inner drummers as well.
Talking about the cowbell, not tonight.
No cowbell tonight, no drumming there. And the creative people, you don't need to be able to drum. We spent most of the day tapping away and having a chat. and looking out for the odd whale.
Have they coming through?
So we thought we'd spotted some, but it wasn't. So it's amazing what you think you see. But as I said, we make better talkers than drummers, and but the drumming's good. It's a purpose. It's a reason to be out and share some time together. So introducing all of those groups of connection and growing our brave places just means we're going to have more places for men to connect, but also strengthen families, because what we do not only is just helps men, it helps whole community, and we really want to start addressing some of the major issues of men's health and mental health, suicide, and domestic violence. And we're working in that direction completely differently. Very hands-on, very face-to-face, and we have tough conversations with people as well. So, if you haven't already, look us up. We're on Facebook, we're on here, we've got brochures to give out as well, and yeah, find out a bit more about us. And I'm always around for a chat. And like I said, I'm not used to talking, so...
I have his comfort zone.
That's right.
It's a local charity as well, born and bred right out of Bundaberg. So put your hands together for Brave Brothers and Dave Facer. We're going to do the raffle very quickly. He's taken the tablets, is he right, Kelly? He's all sorted. We've got him ready for round 2. So I reckon put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Rob Parr. Let's get him back up. And did anyone, just while he's coming up, did anyone have any questions that I might come to you later to get you to ask of Rob? I've got 1 or 2 on my phone, which I'll read on behalf of those in the audience that have given me a question, but here he is. There you go, superstar. Rob Parr?
Don't start that.
No, you are, mate. You are. And you've just made your return.
But I'm not going to let the segment weigh me into it.
I've been working on that for the last 10 minutes.
So, what I would like to say about poetry, well, I'd like to personally thank everyone for coming here. It is awesome. I'd love to thank the whole crew here at Udi's for putting on a wonderful night. And thank this space for being what it is, because spaces hold a lot of value, and we don't have that many spaces where we can come together and share stuff like this. What I was going to say is about poetry and it not being a music night. So music has that awesome ability to give us a message, but we have places to hide in music. We can move with music, we can take the instrumental side with music, we can still listen to the lyrics and get the message. Poetry doesn't give you that opportunity. We are here listening to the words. Yes, they're open to your interpretation, the same as they are when I get them. They are open to my interpretation and my life's journey as to how it gets written down. But then for you it becomes your life's journey and how you interpret the words that I've put down. That's what is so powerful about poetry, is there is nowhere to hide. It is, the message is there and you interpret how you interpret it. Return. I have returned from a sabbatical, gathering material for the story of my life. I return with renewed vigour, energy and purpose, a hunger to suck the marrow from the bones of existence, to make time to sit in the quiet places and contemplate the meaning of life, my purpose, the why of the world. I return with renewed passion to share stories, paint pictures with words, to turn thoughts to letters written on pages. Phrases coupled together that can go on for ages. A desire to create connection, make you question your conviction. Material written that records the journey, not just the body, but the wild imaginings of my mind. I open a door to the perceptions of my reality. I cannot promise all my thoughts will be kind. To you, to me, my body, my untamed mind. To plumb the depths of darkness, harness depression, hold myself tight. Hope, love and purpose flash like lightning in the night. I want to purge my demons, demonstrate the strength of human resilience, hold myself to account, take note of my emotion, maintain much needed surveillance, cut loose the connection to thoughts that implode, thoughts that create an impossible load. I am here to grow into my craft, shape words fit for purpose. I am not looking for perfection, that enemy of progress and production. If words I scribe make you feel wrong or right, I have succeeded with prose. If I can stand on the precipice of life, look into my void and welcome my end, leave something written as a legacy to my life, then I can close my book. I have made my last stand.
And I had a question from Blair during the break.
You, Blair.
Oh. He wants to know about...
No.
Okay. Oh, that's great. How much did you know about poetry before you got into it, and how did you learn the craft and become good at it?
That's a really good question, and I thank you for it, Blair. What I have is a gift for sure. It also, by me saying it's a gift, it lets me get away from the pretender syndrome that I got to a place and pretending my way through it. And I think it's really difficult to accept a gift because you haven't done the work that you should have to be able to write the way I do. What gets me to the point now, but that Jimmy poem was one of the first, and compared to anything I write now, I still feel it has the same emotion, it has the same intent. It's as good as anything I write, but I do find the rhymes come easier now. So my ability to write has gone because I have kept at it. It's not because I've attended art school or have a degree in literature or anything. It is like I have this gift, I am compelled to write, and by writing over and over again, it gets me to a point where I'm able to paint a picture with words for you.
And and as far as, I mean, who here is inspired to maybe even try some poetry after tonight? I know, Blair, that was where the question came from up the back as well. And I suppose, and not everything, you've got the rhyme going, but there is no template, is there?
Yeah. I am not a big fan of rhyme. I don't mind a little bit of it, and I do put it in there. But if something is super rhymey and feels like I'm on a rhyme ride, then I'll actually take rhyming words out. Because my thing is to create a thought or an emotion. I don't want you to get caught up in the rhyme. I've read poetry before where people seem to be expecting the rhyme to keep going and they focus on the rhyme. I want you to focus on how it's making you feel, how it's making me feel. It isn't, I don't create art for you, I create art for me. And because we are all humans and all suffer the same environments, it can resonate with you. That is a big thing for me. Even now, I do not create poetry for you. I couldn't write something tonight for Scott. I can write something for me about what we've experienced here. And if it resonated with you, then that's because I stayed to the source material and you're able to relate to it. No idea where I was going.
You can go to the next poem because this is your runaway brain, and I don't even know. We're heading into territory now that's not in the book. Is that right? Is runaway brain in there?
It may not be.
Anyway, I know there's some in the next section that aren't. So, and you're doing the right thing by the Bluebird in that respect because you're giving us something that's
yes, this is super original. I believe I have another 2 books in me. I would like to make the Untamed Mind a trilogy. So in this first book, I've shown you where my artist comes from. I've shown you I can play with the light side and the dark side. And I would like to make sure that I try to always do that, is have some balance. Although life doesn't always give you balance straight up. Sometimes it's a shit show for ages and then the balance comes later. So my next book will actually delve into a lot of the darker stuff. And then at the end, I hope to be able to bring you out. So again, it'll be 2 chapters and we'll dive straight into stuff. I probably will not do the little blurbs at the start of the poems like I did in this one. The idea of the blurbs was really to let you live a little bit of my life and see where the poetry comes from. And and then the 3rd book in the series, I hope I'll be able to pull all my stuff together and sort of just give an explanation of where my brain has taken me in life and what my journey has been and how grateful I am for all those that have helped me along the way. Runaway brain. You may think I'm strange, or maybe slightly deranged. You don't know the heart of it. What kind of entity are we? Not quite a split personality. My brain suffers with a duality. Vivid pictures override reality. Pictures of a bizarre peculiarity. Images unhinged make you question your morality. Ordinary thoughts for ordinary functioning. Kaleidoscope of images, mind jumbling. I can hold conversation on weather and family. While I'm talking, images distorting. I'm my own worst enemy. I lose my place, my anchor to time and space. My mind laughing at my own calamity. Sometimes in a moment, I can be so close to normal, then my mind crashes in and makes me question my sanity. What good can come from a mind like mine? So many times I query, what's my reason for existing? I have plotted and planned my exiting, yet somehow life is demanding I remain. So here I am, struggling with my runaway brain, trying hard to live a life with love and purpose. Maybe is to write it all out of my head before I'm dead. Save someone else's mental state before it's too late. Me and my runaway brain, left alone in this prison of bone, left alone to question my destiny.
When people talk about mental health, there's a lot of discussion sometimes about rock bottom.
Yeah.
And when you look at your story,
Yep.
and what we learned through the poetry is, it sounds like you've had more than one rock bottom moment.
Oh yeah.
How do you reflect on that and even that way of describing those moments?
So maybe if you would like to read the statement in the front of my foreword, it is very much about being gentle with yourself. I say this to people and they give me a bit of a funny look because the American motivational speakers are push it, get out there, get amongst it, stiff upper lip, have a bit of concrete. I've been that person, but if you're broken, there is no pushing it. You have to recover, repair, and before you can push it again. So maybe if you'd like to read the stay part, so maybe from there.
So whereabouts here?
Yeah, from that.
As someone who lives with depression, I understand how hard it can be to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I also know that sometimes just staying is the most important thing. So my message before you dive into these pages is simple: stay. Stay for the future you that can find happiness, and fulfillment. Stay for the relationships that are still to come, the opportunities you haven't yet had, the person you can become. Stay for the stories you can tell, the lives you can touch, and the beauty that can still be found. Just stay.
You could read poetry, mate.
Oh, cool. That's the easy bit, reading it, mate, I tell you. Writing it's another thing.
Sharing it is the struggle, but the true power of poetry is in the sharing. I have used it all my life to manage my mental health and my emotional state. It is only in the sharing that I've really healed, and the little poetry group that I belong to, the stuff that people get up there and share, and then you have that conversation later, and like I said before, the shared pain and the shared suffering makes us all very relatable. And we'll get into it at the end about us all having so much in common. This
Light.
Yeah, light. Let's go deeper. The gremlins in my head, chipping, always looking, Fingernails, picking, plucking, claws made of fright, feeling for the chinks, the cracks in the night, doorways from which to take flight. Bats swirling, bawling, rolling, swarming. Bats in my head create chaos and dread. This feeling that sinks from my mind, slides down my spine, attacks from behind. Bats in my stomach, the stench in my mouth, bile behind my teeth, vomit rises. My own stomach despises the monsters in my head. Punish the person, flail the flesh. This life I detest, I wish I could give it all a rest. Carnal desires, lighting the fires, material burning, the colour of flames changing, ever changing. Fire dancing like a wild horse prancing, a beast in the night given flight. I'll take this last leap, fly out into the night. This weight in my heart, an anchor that drags me straight down, gravity bound. Broken and busted, my brain splayed out on the ground. A custard tart exploded apart, the demons in my head, nowhere to be found.
Is that one's not in the, is that in
No,
the,
that isn't in the book. It'll definitely be in the second book. But that is, like, it is a visual for me to know that it is just in my brain. If I could work out how to deal with my brain, yeah, it would be a hell of a thing. But yeah, that is, when it's all said and done, those demons die with you. It's not a, I hope it's not a thing we pass on, but some of it can be. But yeah, that is what it is for me, is the demons are in my head, and if I can just learn to live and deal with them, that's what I need to do.
and there's something to be said, which you've already identified, the heart and the head, and knowing the different cues, I guess, almost.
Yeah, and I tell you, it is a funny thing, because learning to deal with my brain, my depression, the way I see the world, I've got to a point now where I can feel sort of a depressive episode coming on. It's like, oh, what are we going to write out this one? It is just about that stay, rather than thinking of ways to end my suffering. It is just stay, and we'll see what we get out of it at the end.
You should take us to Shadows, because I think that's a nice follow.
Yeah, I'll bring you out, I promise. Shadows. These thoughts in my head, malignant and unkind, dark and dangerous, a cancer of the mind. An oil slick on glass, dark and shining, they will not let the light pass. Distorting reflections of faces unknown, seeds of darkness that have been sown. Shadows from my past, my, how those shadows have grown. Darkness and despair, fertilised by doubt. Who plotted and planned this life's strange route? Choices always open, the wrong and the right. Explain away my failures as I wail at the night. I have tried to fight the good fight, whatever that means. I can't see where it's written that these thoughts are forbidden. Here I lie, my demons looping, my body spent, my spirit bent, my face in anguish, shoulders drooping. I cannot escape this feeling of danger. It's snagged on my heart. Adrenaline pushing, but I can't raise my head. Leads me to question, would I be better off dead? Anger rising, boiling my brain. These fucking demons, so hard to contain.
How often do you ask yourself that question, or have you?
That's a big question, Scott. Honesty is the best response. Every day my brain looks for death. If I am doing something, even driving on the road, it's like, oh, I could turn right, I could turn into that car. If I'm doing something on a tractor, it can be, you know, I can hop out there and go under the wheel. It just flicks shit up. And it's just having that, like, the best advice I've been given about those is they are not your thoughts. They are just these random things that fly through your head. And that's through treatment, through doing therapy with psychologists, and that is to realise that it is just your brain, and maybe it is a creative brain that does it, just keeps throwing these stuff up, and maybe that is something that I have chosen to ignore them, but in the creative process I can decide if that's something that I want to turn into something. But yeah, I absolutely hate it. Between the violence and the sexual connotations and the looking for death, I wouldn't wish my brain on anyone.
And I'll just at this point again remind you that if anything at all is wanting you to just get a bit of help, make sure you just reach out, and I'm sure Rob would appreciate that and echo those thoughts. And I think Brave Brothers is one place you can go, and it's just a Google search, and there's stuff there that can, find you answers. So I think
get some help. That's what it's all. That's what this Brave Brothers and community building is about. That's what poetry is about. Is finding community where you can share this stuff and see that there are others. Yes, I am a minority with a brain like I've got, but it is because of my childhood. It is because of stuff that has happened to me. I was not like this pre-18-year-old. I'm not prepared to go into that at the minute. But yeah, there's so many reasons that you end up responding to stuff the way you do. But if we can find community, yeah, it isn't a shoulder to cry on, it's a hand to lift you up.
Now, you said you're going to lift us up at some point.
Yeah, we're getting there. I promise.
Recreational dying. Not yet though.
No, so we've got 2 more to go
Right,
before I
okay.
take you up. And this resonated with so many, and it is, yeah, I won't explain it, I'll let the poem do it. Recreational dying. Dream killer, mind stealer, brave filler. Recreational drugs. Russian roulette for fun. Recreational dying. Recreational. What's the word implying? Gone the illicit and illegal, repurposed and rephrased. Freedom to choose, freedom to lose. Parents left crying. What's society's buy-in? Fractured families, fractured minds. Our society's dying. Drugs aren't the same. Drugs aren't a game. Better ways to numb the pain. Better ways to deal with shame. Find your purpose. Find your place. You belong in this space. Dream killer, mind stealer, grave filler. Recreational drugs, Russian roulette for fun. I've got 2 adolescent boys, and my youngest brother dabbled in this stuff, and we really need to find ways to keep people from going down this path. Even marijuana isn't what it used to be. Like, it used to be grown by a hippie in the hill, and you sort of knew it was more or less natural. We have a family friend whose son took some marijuana, and he had a dissociative episode, and that marijuana was actually dipped in a chemical. So, and that's as simple as that. It still looks like a green leaf, and it still rolls and smells the same. But the other stuff, the powdered stuff, they've got no idea where it comes from. We have had this real problem where it's sort of legal and sort of not legal socially, the marijuana. All of the guys that kids look to on YouTube, where they are, it's legal. So we either need to get on board, make it legal and make it standardised, because the comparison between what marijuana can do, very often there's very little violence involved in marijuana as opposed to what alcohol is. But alcohol has become standardised. Previous to it being standardised, there's ways you could die with alcohol because you had no idea of what the alcohol content was. So that was taking a chance. If we believe that we're going to accept society to have marijuana, then it needs to be standardised, because they don't know what they're getting themselves into.
three, the fight,
Yeah.
the flight, and the freeze.
So many people talk about the first two. They never talk about the third. Three. They don't talk about the three base modes of being. When the moment is so intense, where a heartbeat is a minute, when air is thin and cuts like ice. The fight, the flight, and the freeze. The fight we stand and celebrate, to die for what we believe. The flight we see is a way to go on, regroup and continue. The freeze is never mentioned, hardly ever, even by those that know. To freeze in a moment of madness, when adult fingers manipulate the flesh. Starts the rotting mind, begins the life of self-detest. To come across the freeze when the situation demands the fight or the flight, you realise the freeze is a different kind of death, a slow agony of questions, food for the demons in your head, the hollowing out of a human to make you ask, would I be better off dead? So that poem was part of a much longer poem, but because of our very, very limited attention spans, I wanted to make sure that that message got across. It needs to be spoken about a whole lot more. I have, after sharing this previously, I've had people come up to me and say, yep, we're aware of the freeze, haven't ever heard people talk about it. There might be triggers in your head if you have role-played something that you can change that freeze moment. I am passionate about making sure that is out there, as much as it costs me.
Not alone. This takes us to a place where I think, again, the Brave Brothers story coming back into play.
Yeah, we're coming out. I promise we're coming out. I guess it's partly my artist. It's partly my pledge to others. It is partly the journey that I'm on. Not alone. I am curious about the darkness that lingers, the light that splinters, visages contorted, ends aborted, the pain that grows, crosses planted in rows, promises of death, the call of the crows. I seek understanding of chemicals lacking, contorted thoughts, emotions hacking, the ways of the mind, the cruel and the unkind. This race against time, I would define a moment where clarity is blind. The broken body, the untamed mind, peer deep into the soul and see what we can find. The carnage of carnal knowledge, the lust of mankind. This gift I've been given, the role I could play, to bring out the demons in the clear light of day. Speak for those that don't have the words to say, the pain that they feel, the imagined and the real. This purpose I seek wasn't always clear. Emotions run rampant, my role undefined. A life full of living to help me empathise. Near-death experiences, those that take their own lives. I would write out my heart, walk naked in the street, to make a difference and raise up the weak.
So you said that you write your poetry for yourself, but there's so much in what you do that is for everyone else, isn't there?
Yeah, and maybe that is the source using me. That's the thing about calling myself gifted, is if I can also take it off to the source, that it isn't all me. I receive inspiration. If that inspiration can't find me for an idea, it will find someone else. So I don't know if anyone here is familiar with Rick Rubin and the Creative Act book. It changed my life. His way of thinking about being an artist, being perceptive to what is around you. If you have an idea and you don't act on it, as a conduit, that is fine. So I receive an idea and it comes to me and I can act on it, or I can choose not to act on it. If I choose not to act on it, it will find another conduit. If that idea needs to be out there, it will find a way. And I think it works two ways. So if you are in circumstances that do not allow you to act on an idea, that's fine, because it will find another conduit. So my pledge to myself as an artist now is, if I receive something, I act upon it. And I act 100% on it. I give it everything I've got. And in doing that, it feels like I am offered more inspiration by receiving and being genuine about the inspiration I receive. I feel like I receive more. Yeah, I guess it's the same as if you get a plumber to your house and he does a good job, you get him back again. That's how I feel about it.
And with your poetry, you often, I think, toyed with the idea, didn't you, that you could write like behind something, like you make it very clear that all of these poems are from your personal experiences, right? That's where they're born.
Yes.
But there was a moment, was there, in there where you thought, maybe I could write this poetry and nobody actually knows it's about me?
Yeah. And I gave up on it actually a little bit of that. I'm just trying to be genuine. I think that's an important message for today's youth, is do not try to be nice, try to be genuine. If you don't like something, then say you don't like it. Saying things are okay can get people into really bad places. So yeah, stay genuine, stay true to your beliefs. And,
Creativity?
yeah, I really like this poem. It can sort of show you why I'm able to share what I can share. Creativity. I lie naked in the stream of creativity, naked to display all my inadequacy. I like to submerge and hold my breath, drown out the noise of society. The stream is inconsistent, the babbling often incoherent. Opportunity to take notes fleeting, moments missed, mind deleting. The stream moves, never in the same place. The creative juices, never in the same space. I must seize the moment, regardless of the time. Write down the words, record the message sublime. Thoughts stream into my head. What was it that they said? Avoid overthinking, remain trance-like instead. I go with the flow, my artist starts to glow. A conduit from the ether, my antenna tuned. All experiences the same, felt on another plane. Rewritten thoughts from ages past, this moment cannot last. The human experience remains the same. Laying naked in the stream of creativity, I feel no shame.
Now, any more questions from the audience? Anyone? Oh, we've got one at the back.
Hey, Guzzy.
For my linear way of thinking, I would, like in my head, I would have to distill the thoughts down to a singular emotion, which I can fairly recognise anyway, in order to write something. But your poems seem to be able to encompass the disorder and the multitude of thoughts running in different directions at the same time, and be able to make a creative output of that.
Yeah, so something that I have a folder in my phone called Random Lines, and they are like seeds that I can grow a poem from. Sometimes those random lines I've sort of exhausted where I can write poems from, but what is left can actually go on a page and be meaningful, like I never even had an idea it could possibly be meaningful. I've shared a few of those over time that it blows me away how that is even possible. But I think I've done where I try to remove myself, if I can sort of just write in a flow state, and it doesn't even make sense to what is coming to me that I'm going to be able to write something that is a cohesive message. But it comes out that way. Yes, it requires some editing. Yes, it requires a little bit more thought often, but sometimes it is. This next poem that I'm going to read, it came to me all at once, no edit, no nothing, and it was just like an out-of-body experience. I don't want to say sexual, but that's sort of really what it is. It's just, it comes to you and it's get it out, and it's a relief to have it out. That got your interest, didn't it? Humanity. Oh, we're past time? We're going to use it here. All right. Humanity. The pain that grows from shame's darkened shadow. No crops rise from fertile fields left fallow. Plant the seed. Take harbour in humanity's shelter. Rise above the torture of your own mind. Receive the support of your fellow man. Take the chance to believe in your dream. Whole generations built on we can. Self-isolation cancels your backstory, creates too much space to connect and relate. Become an us, put your past behind you and participate. Let your actions reflect your empathy. Be generous with your sympathy. Pass on the lessons learned from your history. So many eyes looking for differences. What we have the same should be the influences. Our individual strengths give us resilience. Our combined strength gives us certainty. A soul's voyage propelled by mystery, different from yours, but no less magical. Listen to the message, it's not so radical. Our ancestors' expectation haunts, common needs and common wants. We bleed the same and so easily. So many sacrifices given readily, energy expended in hate keeps returning us to this never-ending state. Change the focus, prepare for complex society, rise above, show violence sobriety. My house, my village, my world, my family, take part in humanity.
We're coming back up now.
Yeah,
thank you.
Said I would. That is such, and whether it is what is happening, and that was written not that long ago, whether that is what is happening in this world, we need to, just sort of all come together and start lifting each other up rather than pushing each other down or sideways or I think as men we have this thing where we must build something for ourselves, for our family, but we become that linchpin. We build so much and put so much weight on ourselves. If that linchpin is pulled apart, then everything falls away. If we've done our work to create community, then others can step in and hold us together. And it is only from losing health, losing fitness, losing everything that you can get to a point where you can see that perspective, because we've got this lone wolf mentality, and I clung to it like an absolute beast. I wanted to be the wolf among men, but that's not what my purpose has turned into. That's my big thing, is create community.
Oh, yeah. You've done it here. I mean, this is a beautiful room full of beautiful people, and it's part of your community.
It will be interesting if you do run into each other, whether I have done what I set out to do, and that is to make you think and to create a conversation. So this book, I believe, is going to be something that in those moments that brave brothers come up against all the time, where you're unable to speak because of the emotion involved, you say, look mate, this is all I've got to give you at the moment. Either recommend they have a read of it or actually be able to hand it to them. So have a read of this. We'll go for a coffee in a week's time and we can have a chat. Not everything in there you will have felt, but I guarantee if you have some depression in your life, then you'll resonate with some of it. And it's not just others, it is written for my children as well. I said before about their lives not being the same as mine, and multi-generational depression and trauma is a thing. If I can pass that on to my kids as something to lean on, and it's out there for anyone to lean on.
Yeah, and forever, isn't it great what a book can provide? We're nearing the end, folks. Any more questions? I just don't want you to go home and think, I really had that burning question. I had a statement before from the audience. I think it was your father-in-law.
He is a wonderful man. He would give you the shirt off his back. He has supported my children through all of their silly mistakes, and perhaps some of my silly mistakes, Ken and Bonnie. We're talking about building community. They've been a wonderful example. I'm so blessed to be married to the lady I am, without all of the baggage.
And building was the statement that I got from said father-in-law, because apparently you are, and obviously your health has meant that more recently you haven't been able to fulfil this craft that is being a builder. Apparently you are one of the best, my friend.
Well, that's his opinion, isn't it?
Yeah,
likely to be biased. And that is something that my building has shown me about that perfection thing. If you are seeking perfection, it's very hard to get anything built. You need to be allowing for a couple of millimetres. In my occasion, it is just a couple of millimetres. I know for other builders it can be however big. But yeah, perfection is that enemy of progress and production, whether it's writing poetry or building houses or renovating a bathroom. You have to allow for a little bit of humanity to creep in, and we are far from perfect.
Any questions? Last chance, it's like an auction. No? Oh, Chris.
Rob, when you read the Mountain,
Yeah.
and the very last verse really resonated with me, because when I go, when I pass away from this earthly place, I don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it said, and I'd just like to know what you were thinking when you wrote this. When I am done, I will return to your embrace, to lie under a tree and become a faceless place, to be part of the mountain, to be part of the birds and the trees, all this life of living and the body it's built. I offer to you my mountain without my earthly guilt. The mountain that calls.
Yeah. So I think it is abandoning. I was very sick when I wrote that poem. Abandoning all that material stuff we put on our shoulders. For me to walk in the mountains, even though I was sick, I could sit under a tree and I was just part of that place. And the thought of that amount of peace being with me when I have passed is what that last line is sort of about.
Great question. Any more? Don't be shy.
None from my wife.
No. Gratitude. I love where this takes us.
Yeah. Gratitude. I have been on a journey, gathering material, my essence drawn out and hammered upon, the white-hot forge of life shaping my mind, taking me to the edge of my emotions, where unfathomable sadness lies, where questions of why lay unanswered. I have passed through a tempering of pain, white-hot, passing out and returning to be tempered again. Moments of questions, of purpose, of place, the price to remain. I ask myself, is it worth it? Would I go through it again? It is all too recent, the shadow lingers, still strong in my mind. With distance and time, perhaps if life can be kind. A family has lost and grieved a soul departed, that I may stand among you. Am I, are they, them? Two persons combined? How to live a life that reflects the sacrifices given, the medical miracles bestowed. Will everything I am be enough, or do I need to be more? Will a simple life suffice? Is it a debt that I need to pay? Or is it what was given without cost? Given without expectation, knowing that just giving is enough, changing a family's trajectory. All I have are my gifts of words to explore and create, words to express my gratitude, my gift to write and help others relate, perhaps to ask if you too would be willing to donate, to change multiple lives when your light dims, when the great beyond calls, ready or not. I seek my purpose. I want to live the life that benefits others, the unknown sisters and brothers. Fulfill my purpose, our purpose, to be a positive influence, to be enough for both of our mothers.
And 2 words for you, donate life.
Donate life. So you may or may not have found the brochure in the back of your book. There is a Donate Life brochure in the back of your book. I am not asking you to donate your organs. I'm asking you to have a conversation. If you see value in what I am, and it's part of how I am able to do it. I have a second chance at life. It blows my mind. So that's how I'm able to be up here and so uncomfortable and still push through. This is my second chance to make a difference. It's not to build a house for a single person. It is to make a difference in everybody's lives here. So if you believe that my message has worth, then that is what organ donation can do. I'm not saying it will do it every time. I'm saying there are people that will take their second chance and do everything to fulfill what they feel they need to. So if you are against organ donation, that is fine, but I would ask you to have that conversation with your family so that when people like Karen here have to have that conversation, if you happen to pass in a way where organ donation is possible, they do not have to be so careful about how they ask those questions. I cannot imagine that conversation. Can you imagine talking to loved ones about offering their organs for donation at a time when you've just lost them? I cannot. My second chance wouldn't allow me to have that conversation, let alone anything else. But maybe it is because people like Karen see so often the results of what a second chance can do. So all I'm going to ask is you have that conversation. If you are for it, let your families know multiple times. You do not want to put on your family at the end, oh, well, I wasn't sure what mum or dad wanted, or I wasn't sure what my child wanted. Just have that conversation, make it normal, and have it a couple of times. And if it's for or against, when the time comes, everybody will know and your wishes will be complied with.
Is there any way of knowing, I don't know the privacy and all of that, but anything about the donor?
So in Australia we do not encourage finding our donors. In America they do, and in 98.1% or whatever it is, they everything goes really well. Everyone lives a happy life. In that 1.8% that don't, the donor's family basically become stalkers and they want you to live their life because you have a part of their child, their mother or father in them, and you best be doing the right thing by them. So that is a hell of a thing, and even in a society where we don't encourage that, I have still received it. Because you're a donor, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. And it's like, who the hell are you to be? And we have so many donor families that all they want for us is to live a life. They don't care how we live it. They just want us to have life. So, yeah, I am not for finding out who my donor is. Some of the donor families I have met are still grieving so hard because we, as recipients, carry somebody else with us. Maybe that person is never truly passed, so they never truly let go. I don't know that for sure, but I feel like a lot of donor families I meet are still grieving very hard about their lost one.
This has been fascinating. The Untamed Mind Project, I hope it lives well beyond this beautiful night at Udi's Cafe, Rob Parr. If it was a music night, there'd be one song to go, we'd probably say that's it, no more, and then there'd be like an encore. So the next poem can be the encore, if everyone makes enough noise. So ladies and gentlemen, Rob Parr. You want more? You want one more? Did everyone know? Sure? I want another one. Okay, I think I want another one. So one more poem to bring us home.
Thank you so much. It keeps me going. I have moments of doubt about what I am doing. It's guys like Scott and Dave that keep me doing what I'm doing. It is responses from audiences like you tonight that keep me pushing forward on my path. So this poem is called Perspective. The serpents of the mind, these things that slide through conscious endeavour, leave you feeling under the weather. Slippery slope, tie a knot in that note rope. Knots that entwine, knots that bind, knots to hold, tied to thoughts and dreams of old. You speak to me of philosophy, yet you write no poetry. The depths of man unexplored behind the masculine door. To only have money and nothing more creates disparity. As life goes, you are truly poor. A scratch on the lens of perception leads you to view life's opportunity as a chance for rejection. Can't start, won't start. Easier to hold all this love in my heart. Harbour my emotion bound up inside, creating distance and tension. Write out your heart as an act of devotion, not to a deity, but to you, the journey you travelled, the strength you gathered when it most mattered. Where did the fear come from? Death isn't implied, it's certain. Create art, love hard, pull back the curtain. The strength of humanity passed through the ages. Generations of fathers, mothers, sisters and brothers. Ancestors gather in your shadow, cheering you on to ask for more. This light gives for those that dare. Pull on the yoke of responsibility. Live your life. Become all you could be. Fear of failure? It doesn't matter. Load up on love. Write some poetry. Become the you were meant to be.
Well, we're all cheering you on for more, my friends. Thank you, one and all, for being here to listen to the ramblings of this untamed mind. What a legend. I'm going to give him a hug. You have a good night. Thanks for being here. Cheers. Thank you.